Tell me when you're ready.
Did you come out of here?
Pardon me?
We did.
Yes.
Who moved?
Of course. Come on.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm good.
Okay. I'll call the meeting to order for April 1st, 2015. First item on our agenda is any additions or deletions to the agenda. And Councillor Sobel, if I may start with you.
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Councillor Deputy Mayor Blokeland,
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Councillor Wallace,
Your Worship, I have two items. One under questions between councillors and or administrations. 11.1 roles and responsibilities. And 11.2 thank you. And council limitations 12.1 Lions auction.
thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Councillor Gritchuk?
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Nothing. Councillor Peterson?
There were questions, but you said that they've been answered, so that they don't need to be on here regarding the engineer's report. So that doesn't need to be on here. Okay. I have none.
And I have nothing. Administration?
Your Worship, we have one item under delegations, 5.1, Miss Savannah Sandry, please.
5.1.
Your Worship, I'd move to adopt the agenda as amended.
We have a motion on the floor to accept the agenda as amended. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And carried. Next item on the agenda is adoption of the minutes of May the 18th, 2015.
So moved, Your Worship.
We have the motion on the floor to accept the minutes of March the 18th. Any
Your Worship, as I was absent at that meeting, I wish to abstain on that vote.
understood? Any further discussion? Yep. Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. And adoption of the minutes for March the 24th special council meeting.
Worship, I'd move to adopt the minutes of March 24th special council meeting as presented.
Deputy Mayor Buckland?
Your Worship, as I was absent from that meeting, I wish to abstain on the vote.
Thank you. Understood. All in favor? And carried. First item on our agenda is a delegation 5.1. Savannah, would you like to come forward, please?
Hello.
Hi.
I've been in here before and I've talked to all of you guys, and I've recently come back from California. I brought you guys something to say thank you, and I was wondering if I could come and show you guys.
Yes.
You by all means, please.
This is for you guys.
Oh, what a beautiful job.
It's a picture of me and my horse Chili,
Uh-huh.
and it's one of my ribbons that I won while I was down there.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. Could we get a picture with the mayor with you with your picture? Thank you for that.
Yes,
That's
thank you
really
very much.
thoughtful.
What do they
Don't photobomb.
And that's for us.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I also wanted to tell you guys, I won when I was down there. I won 5 first place ribbons and 20 clear round ribbons, which clear round means that I didn't walk down in holes. So I'm really proud of that. I just wanted to let you guys know that I did really well when I was down there. I really proud.
Yeah, you did really well.
So if I may, Your Worship?
Yes.
So do you find riding down in that warm weather a little easier than up here?
It's kind of hard though because you get kind of dehydrated when you're down there because you don't want to drink water because you're kind of like focused. But I was trying to stay hydrated, but it's kind of hard. I kind of enjoy riding down here more because it's cooler.
Yeah.
I do enjoy riding down there.
Good stuff. Well, congratulations. Wonderful.
Savannah, what's your next exploit?
I'm supposed to be going to Spruce Meadows in one
Yes.
of the classics coming up.
Yes.
Not this coming up, probably the next one.
Wonderful.
Oh, right now now. A couple of days after Chili got back from California, she got off the trailer and she was kind of sore on one of her legs.
Yeah.
So we brought, like, the veterinarian came out and they checked her everywhere, and they said that there's like no heat or anything, so there's no, like, no signs that she's hurt, but she's like limping when I'm riding her, so I'm not riding her right now. I'm riding my little horse Ian.
Oh, yeah.
So Chili just got checked the other day, and he put her on some ulcer medication.
Yeah.
Because he thinks that she might have ulcers.
Oh.
So usually that doesn't cause a horse to get to go lame, but he says that he's been in the business so long he's only seen it happen once. So Chili could be like one of the that happened to, which we're hoping not. But I'm still, like, my coach is trying really hard to, like, train me, and I'm still probably going to, like, I am training still on Ian, so at least I'll still be progressing. But Chili's recovering right now. So.
Well, we wish you the best,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
keep us appraised of you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you for being
Congratulations.
such a good representative for Strathmore.
Your worship,
Oh,
we should have prayer.
okay, I'm sorry, we missed that. I didn't realize there was somebody here. Pastor Les Fisher, if you could give us an opening prayer, I'm sorry.
I'm here, and so's God. Not because of me either. Let's all bow, please. Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for the opportunity to meet and do the town business tonight. I pray for the councilors, for the mayor. I pray in these times of economic uncertainty that wisdom would prevail tonight in these proceedings. I pray tonight in Jesus' name that as council begins their meeting, that they would do so with the awareness that without the divine presence of God at the center of the meeting, that in themselves they would be empty. I pray grace upon us tonight. I pray grace and wisdom upon council tonight. And I pray even that you'd gift them with holy humor and humility, so that not only this meeting that takes place tonight, but a meeting place for the kingdom. And I ask this in Jesus' name, by the power of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is land use bylaw amendment, Wildflower Phase 2B. And that will be brought forward by Planning and Development.
Your worship, I'd move the council give first reading to bylaw number 15-09.
We have a motion on the floor to give first reading to bylaw 1509. All in favor? And carried. And thank you.
Your worship, I move that council hold a public hearing for bylaw number 15-09 on April 15th, 2015.
We have a motion on the floor. All in favor? And carried. Thank you. New business, 2015 United Way funding, SCSS. Please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So Strathmore United Way Committee held their annual grant meeting on March 24th, and a total amount of $52,700 of grant funds will be distributed to the following organizations: Friends of Brentwood School Society, Strathmore Family Outdoor Rink Committee, Strathmore Frozen Meals, Accredited Supports to the Community, Growing Families Society, Hope Bridges Society for Creative and Continuing Learning, Hope Community Covenant Church, Fuel Fuel, Strathmore Municipal Library, Youth Club of Strathmore, Community Crisis Society, Project Hope, and Strathmore Wheatland Addiction Team. So the recommendation is that council approve the recommendations of the United Way.
Your worship,
Questions?
I would move the council approve the recommendation of the United Way Committee and grant $52,700 of the Strathmore United Way funds to the organizations identified, with thanks to the committee for their work.
Discussion? Councilor Sullivan?
Actually, I do have a couple of questions. Actually, it's more in the organization itself. So where does this, can you just tell the
council and the public, where is this money being raised? Where does the $52,000 come from?
So we get granted the money every year by population from United Way Calgary.
And is it conditional on any funds raised in Strathmore?
If we raise funds in Strathmore, it stays in Strathmore.
Okay. Is there some indication how much was raised in Strathmore?
I think last year, 2014, our barbecue, I think we raised around $5,000
Okay.
that we do on Canada Day. That's the only fundraiser we do.
So if I'm clear, so our involvement with the United Way and the fundraising we do affords all of these organizations this extra money to carry on through the year. It's a great organization. I'm glad we're in it, and thank you very much for all you do for United Way and everybody else who volunteers with United Way. And I just hope the message gets out that when there's a fundraiser for United Way, it's nice to dig deep, because it really does benefit a lot of people and the people that really need these funds. So
Thank you.
Thank you. No further discussion? All in favor? And carried. And thank you. Administration, Town of Strathmore website.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm just gonna turn the TV on behind you so that I can show you the website.
When could we watch a hockey game?
Yeah.
I can put it on for you.
Are those your horses, Dwight?
Okay. So our new Town of Strathmore website went live on March 25th, 2015.
Jen?
Oh, you can't hear me. Is it going? We feel that the transition from the old site to the new site went very smoothly. We've got quite a bit of feedback from staff, and as long as it's been live for the past week, we haven't had any complaints or negative feedback, which is really nice. Some of the main features that I just wanted to point out on the website is our event calendar, and that is located here. I brought a mouse with me. So it's quite a bit bigger than our old one, and it's very detailed and pretty easy to find. If you click on the events, it pops up like that, so it gives all the description and the time and more details if you want to click on that of every event. And as you can see on the right side, there's a public advisory there, which we've created, and so that it stays on every page as you move through the website, so it's always viewable. Just an example shows up there. The layout of the website is very clean and easy to navigate. We've added a few forms that can be filled in online and submitted via email. The How Can I tab is really helpful, so people can get to where they want to go quickly. The website's very searchable. We're still working on that aspect of it to be able to, I can't remember the word Dan used, tagging, I think, tagging things so that they're searched when you type it in. The social media buttons at the bottom of the page are clean and easily accessible as well. And our contact information is at the bottom of the page. So when we click on that, it brings up the whole list of contacts for the town. There's still a couple things that we have to get completed. Twist Marketing is working on a new platform for us so that community groups will be eventually able to input their own contact information so that we don't have to worry about keeping that up to date. And then what will happen is they'll fill out their forms and it will come to me to be approved before it goes onto the website, which is really nice. We asked that all staff review the site a couple days before it went live and report back to us with any content issues. We did get a lot of feedback and I think that most of it is up to date now. Obviously, we're still going through it page by page to make sure that everything's up to date on that. And that's really all of the big features that are on the site. So if you guys have any questions or comments, we'd like to hear your feedback.
Who was first?
I maybe missed you. So if somebody wants to attach themselves to this page, you guys approve it first and then they work it after that themselves, or how does it work?
For their contact information, they will just send us, it will come to me in email form. They'll fill out the name of their organization, phone number, email, mailing address, things like that, and it will be sent to me and then I can approve it and then post it on the site.
And that stays, and anybody can click on that after, like if it.
Yep, I'll show you.
From developers to anybody is what you're saying?
It's gonna be, developers, I believe, will be one, and then community groups. So it's on the main page right here under community groups. And then everything will be listed under there once we get that platform built, which will hopefully be within the next week.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Walker?
Thank you, Your Worship. Jen, you spelled my name wrong.
I didn't.
Somebody spelled it
On the,
email address.
okay, I'll have that changed. Thanks for noticing.
Thank you.
Well,
Councilor
just a comment, you guys, I think you've done an absolutely fantastic job. I've been fiddling around with that thing since it came out, and I just enjoy going through it because there's a wealth of information and it's just so easy to navigate. It's just, all I can say is really, really nice job. I think it makes a big difference for the town. I also have a couple of suggestions. I've already passed them on to deputy CAO, and I'm sure they'll make their way down to you at some point, but very, very minor. And I just love it. And I realize it's a work in progress. It's going to be changing. I'm glad that administration has chosen to have somebody focused solely on this because it is going to be a job. It's only going to be relevant if we keep up with the information that comes in. It's an ever-changing. There's lots of information, lots of changes. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Nothing further? And I would reiterate what they're saying. It's a lovely site. I've been on it and it's very user-friendly. Compliments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna see if I can use it, anybody can.
Do you want to hear a funny story about it?
Yeah.
The positive feedback just from a few people that commented on it, but one person of a certain age said, you know, I went to the map of the pathways. That map is terribly, terribly difficult to use. I said, well, there's an app that you can download and it's right on the webpage. And she hadn't heard of an app. So then she said, well, she phoned me back and said, well, I went on there and I tried everything to print it. And I even clicked on the sites that were in it. So I said, well, you know what, maybe what we could do is make the map a little more friendly. And the map probably could, the lines on the pathways could maybe be highlighted a little
Okay.
bit, because that's what people are really keen on. But it was just really lovely to think that lots of people are looking at it and using it.
Yeah, for sure.
And the Path app is fabulous.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say that if there's any other questions or comments, any changes that need to be made, they can be emailed directly to me and we'll get it changed as soon as we can.
Okay, good. Thank
Thank
you.
Very much. Good job.
The next item on our agenda is the 2015 FCM conference, and that's administration, please.
Yes, Your Worship. Just wanted to mention one thing. I just checked on our website as Jen was talking, and you can actually see the council meeting streaming live on our website right now. So it's kind of another cool feature. I just noticed. Anyways, FCM. Your Worship, the annual FCM conference is being held in Edmonton on June 5th to 8th. Typically, council has sent the mayor and another council member to attend the conference. The CAO also attends. We're bringing this forward to council so that council can let administration know who plans on attending so that we can register before the early bird registration deadline of April 13th.
So, discussion, questions? Historically, CAO, the mayor, and one councillor attends. Is there any discussion on thoughts on who should attend, who wants to attend? Recommendations?
Where is it?
Edmonton.
Edmonton, oh yeah.
If this helps, I'm not available, Your Worship. I will not be attending.
Okay,
And I can't attend, Your Worship, because of the time of year.
okay.
I normally don't attend these FCMs because you got to fly to these things.
Perfect opportunity.
Perfect.
No planes falling out of the sky now.
So Councillor
But,
Deputy Mayor, are you considering going?
No, I will not be attending this.
Yeah, Your Worship, unfortunately, I don't know where I'll be on the June 5th to 8th. So at this time, I'm going to respectfully decline as well.
Looks like you're going to FCM.
I have to, I'm not sure if I got another convention going to, but I have to check. Can I get back to you?
And we'll also have to check with Councillor Fuel, see, I would imagine he's going to have the same
He'll
difficulty.
be
but-
in the same, it's
Yeah.
per diploma exam prep.
So Your Worship, then I would move that accept his information, yeah. And that if there's a council wishing to go, that they advise administration. Would that be sufficient with council?
Should we accept it as information or, go ahead.
Your Worship, because the deadline is April 13th, there's no council meeting before that date. So I'm not sure if we want to delegate, and if a council member can't go, then, or delegate those who know they can go to the mayor.
Your Worship, can we just advise any councillors interested to let Jen know prior to the 12th of April?
So as long as you pass the motion to say mayor, CAO, and one councillor.
Yeah.
So moved. Or I will send that, Council Sobel can do that.
No. Your motion was fine.
Motion's still
Just
on the floor.
with the diary date of April 12th.
Sounds good to me. Thank you. I'll accept that friendly amendment then.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. No further discussion? All in favor? And carried. Thank you. Incubator business and Councillor Peterson. Yep.
So, thank you, Your Worship. At our last meeting, I offered a notice of motion, so I would just, I'll make the motion now and then we can discuss it. So I would move that Strathmore Town Administration, in consultation with Strathmore Regional Arts Collective Chair Brandy Hebbs, bring forward a proposal for an informal gathering of Strathmore community members and businesses interested in the concept of incubator businesses in this Strathmore community.
Questions?
Your Worship?
Please.
In our economic development plan brought forward in our last meeting to council, many of the issues indicated opportunities for building interest in our downtown community particularly, but also enhancing business opportunities in the home area of home-based business and art, artists and art crafters. So what we're proposing is that we gather together groups of interested people from the community to a night of information and discussion, and go forward from there. We've had lots of interest from community. There are already businesses that are entertaining incubators in their places of business or their places. Strathmore Library would be one where artists' work is on display. The FCSS has a brand new art display area now for where artists can display. We hope to move that into an opportunity where artists could actually vend their work as well as display it, and we think it would add interest to our downtown community. And we know that there are multiple different ways that this could unfold, and we want to explore those possibilities, and we want to do it in full consultation with our community, and we're really excited about it. And I don't know if Linda wants to speak to it at all.
I wanted to cover another aspect, sort of relates to it. My staff just recently completed all the list of all the home occupation. It's all computerized now. And if we want to send something out to all of them at once saying there's an open house a particular night, talk about incubator and all we have to do is hit it and send it. So anyway, we can hit those hundreds of home occupation and invite them personally.
Nothing further? And Councillor Peterson, if I may, I contacted the Calgary Regional Partnership to see if they had any information that they may share with us in regards to the incubator. And should there be some information come back, did you want me to forward it to you or to somebody else?
Well, thank you, Your Worship. I appreciate that. I also know that Wanda Reinhold has worked on maybe looking at people who could also come. And I think at that night, what we really want is someone to do a very brief overview of the possibilities for incubator businesses in community, particularly in a small community like ours. And so we definitely entertain that, and I think giving that information to Wanda would be great. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Did you want any sort of a motion?
I think I made the motion, and then I do think in terms of dating that, I really think that that's up to administration. I understand that this they've done their part pretty much already, and then I think that in terms of the open house, it'll be done in consultation with SRAC, with Brandy Hebbs from SRAC, and hopefully SRAC and counterparts will assume some of the tasks around that, and we can move forward. So I don't want to put that on council or on administration. I know that they will make that decision commensurate with the tasks and duties that are before them.
Okay. No further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And carried. And thank you. Next item is a Strathmore cleanup proposal. Councillor Peterson.
Thank you, Your Worship. When Dr. Stanford and I were working at the Calgary Home Show, we were approached by Becky Stone, the owner of Pranava Yoga in town, who talked about a friend of hers, Marcy Hira, I'm not sure how the last name is pronounced. And they had a great interest in bringing together a day of community cleanup. And in fact, Marcy put together a very detailed plan for this cleanup. And I brought it to council tonight because I think that this is a wonderful initiative brought forward by this person in our community wanting to do something very, very good. And she asks what the town of Strathmore could contribute. And she asked questions around insurance and liability and those kinds of things. What I am recommending is that council accept this for information and that we ask Marcy to come to our next meeting. And in the meantime, hope that she can contact the schools for their support and come forward with a plan. And I think those items for sponsorship that she notes on page 2, particularly the ones with regards to insurance and liability, because schools do have insurance and liability for their students. And then our administration would have an opportunity to look at any other things that might need to be covered from the town perspective. And we'd have a much better idea of how that would work. And the other thing that we would ask that that she have time to actually go through this in a little bit more detail and then come back to council at our next meeting with this presentation in hand. And at that time, I would suggest that the town would have a better idea of what we can contribute, and hopefully we can move forward with it before the end of the school year.
Councillor Krejcik?
Your worship, I'm very much in favor with this. It'll start in my kitchen.
Oh.
So I'm in favor of this, really.
Yeah.
Councillor Sullivan?
I'm just, like, I'm in absolute awe of this. This is amazing.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
this is absolutely fantastic. And I don't know when, I'd like to see council get behind this in regards to sponsorship and supporting this any way we can. I think this is a fantastic thing. This is just something that will bring our community together, and it really will prevent, I am hoping that it will prevent further garbage being strewn about in our neighborhoods, in our communities, because if you're part of picking up the problem, then you're not so apt to be dropping the garbage down. So I think this is a great plan. Thank you.
Thanks for all your work on that.
Thank you, Councillor Sobel. It wasn't my work. It was the work of Marcy here. But so just a question to administration. So you're okay if I contact her, say that council want her to proceed? Then you would be the ones, though, that would invite her to the meeting? Or should I have her contact you? Is that the next step? So I'll contact her and have her get a hold of Jen. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is originated by Councillor Fuel, and he is not here today. Is there anybody prepared?
We need a motion on that last item.
Yeah, I just made a motion
direction?
to accept for information.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Your worship.
Okay. Received, unless she also wanted to do it by direction to administration.
Well, no.
I want to receive it for information, Your Worship, so that we can bring it forward in its entirety to the next meeting. So
Okay.
it'll form a part of the minutes.
Okay, it's been presented to us as a motion for
Thank you,
information.
Councillor.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Your Worship, the Communities in Bloom, this is coming forward to council from Councillor Fuel, I believe, as Communities in Bloom has requested that a council member sit on their board again. So this is just coming to council to see if council is interested in sitting on that board once again.
Councillor Sobel?
I guess I just have a bit of an issue with it not being able to ask Councillor Fuel why he wants to do this. So if unless there's other questions, I would move that this be put off to the next council meeting when Councillor Fuel is present to find out what his idea is behind this.
Okay. Do you want to make it as a formal motion?
It is a motion.
Okay, it's a motion on the floor to bring it forward to the next council meeting. Any further
Or maybe
discussion?
not.
Sure, could I just mention that this was a request made to Councillor Fuel. I believe it was Mr. Brightweiser who made the request that we once again appoint a council member to that committee. And we do actually provide funds to communities in bloom each year. So he didn't mention, Councillor Fuel did not ask to be put on the committee. He just asked if we would consider having a council member appointed to the committee again.
Councillor Peterson.
I submit to the greater knowledge of my longer term serving councillors, but there was a new policy around this, correct? So that can come forward at our next meeting as well. So we can consider it fully. Thank you.
Yeah. So there's a motion on the floor to bring it forward to the next meeting. All in favor? And carried. Council committee reports is our next item. And can I start with you, Councillor Graychuk?
Certainly, Gay. Again,
sir.
The Recreation Club didn't have a meeting last month. I have no call from them as to when the next meeting will be. And I want to say that I won't be here for the next council meeting. I was at a convention for Wheatland Housing for the 16th or the 15th rather. I'm at a convention for the Wheatland Housing, and Councillor Brad Walls is going to speak to that. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Peterson.
SRAC had a meeting in March. I was unable to attend. I was at a funeral, but we have great reports and minutes. So SRAC has now placed wall shelving in the FCSS boardroom with Catherine's blessing, and local artists will be selected to display their art on a monthly basis. And Joe Bratton is the first artist whose work is on display there. It's definitely worth seeing. The Fall Art Festival will be held on the Ag Grounds in the fall, and we're grateful to the Ag Society for being so accommodating. The 55 plus games have asked for input from SRAC, and we will attempt to make sure that we're trying to do our very best to make that just a little bit better. Under the Marigold Report, there is a People's Choice Award for libraries, and we really want our Marigold library system to win. So there is if you go on to the Marigold website, you can vote for them, and you should do that. And Marigold's also holding a poster contest that ends April 23rd, and the artwork will be featured on their posters and brochures. The main news for Marigold Library is that the provincial operating grants for public libraries have increased by 3.5 million. This was very, very good news. They attributed it to councils like this one who advocated to the provincial government for per capita funding to be paid at the 2014 population levels. So CAO Michelle Toombs of Marigold Library asked to pass on her gratefulness to this council for their ongoing support of that. And it does, it will have an impact on our local library as well, a positive impact. The annual general meeting for Marigold will be April 18th at Hope Covenant. The Strathmore Municipal Library report, they were waiting to hear about the United Way grant, and they now know, and they're very happy about that. They had the most successful used book sale ever, and so, you know, with people buying bags of books for $1. They also asked me to pass along their thanks to both newspapers in the community for the great support that they get. They're running a Food for Fines initiative, and it's moving along really, really well. So if you have fines at the library, you can pay off your fines with food. They're doing lots of spring break programming for all of our students who are out of school. That's a wonderful support program. They and the youth club do that over spring break. So for the youth of our community, it's a wonderful thing. May 23rd, they host a plant sale and vendors. And we now have funding status, so they have a tax receipt at the front desk. And those are my reports, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Stoll.
Thank you, Your Worship. Excuse me. For the Strathmore, Alberta 55 plus summer games, the directors meeting was held on March 19th. Focus of this meeting was to have the directors discuss in detail their progress to date and ensure that each department was cognizant of how they would interact with each other during the games. Listening to these reports, it was again very evident that an enormous amount of work has gone into the plan, and I feel very confident that the 1,400 anticipated participants and all of our guests are going to be impressed with the 2015 Summer Games. A reminder that there's only 106 days to go. I also want to emphasize how everyone can still become a part of the games. Volunteers are still needed, billets are still needed, and if you wish to open up your home to a couple of participants during the games, that would be really welcome. And everyone can show their support by being part of the three main fundraisers that we have going. First is the Dream Vacation Draw, with the draw for 12 prizes of $5,000 taking place in April 21st. And just as an aside, there were 2,000 tickets printed for that draw. There's somewhere in the vicinity of 550 sold to date. So if anybody wants to increase their odds, now's the time to buy a ticket. The second is to get registered for the second annual golf tournament set to go on Saturday, May 30th. And the last is to get your tickets for the Beatles tribute concert that's on June 20th at the Civic Center, the Family Center, pardon me. Anyone can get more information on this by simply calling the games office at 934-1580. For the Strathmore Wheatland Addictions Team SWAT, there was no general meeting of SWAT in March. Transportation Committee, and once again, there's no CRP Transportation Committee meeting in March. However, there's one very early tomorrow morning. The Downtown Revitalization Committee, this committee met on March 17th and discussed 3 applications for recommendations by the committee. We heard updates from the Planning Division in regards to some ideas for possible improvements to the downtown area, and finally discussed the need to limit the amount of time that a temporary sign would be allowed to exist in the downtown area while waiting for a permanent sign. The policy in that regard is being examined. Lastly, Council Policy Review Committee, myself, the mayor, and members of administration met on March 17th, and a number of town policies were discussed. Suggestions were made, and a number of areas in these policies are now closer to coming to council for review and action. And that's for my report, Your Worship.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Blackman?
Thank you, Your Worship. I came back from holidays on Sunday. I had business commitments on Monday. I apologize, I was unable to attend the Chamber of Commerce meeting on Monday and the Handy Bus meeting. And there was no Wademza meeting in March. And that's it for my report.
Thank you. Councillor Balls?
Your Worship, with Wheatland Housing, Councillor Graychuk and I have been attending numerous meetings over the past month. Unfortunately, they are all in camera, so no real intricate details there. One of the best things that happened is we had our financials audited, and the town now has a copy of them, and we were given we're sitting in very good financial shape, so we're very excited about that. And the audit committee had a meeting, and the mayor will report on that.
Good, thank you. I'll do the quick report in regards to the audit committee. The audit committee was just basically a briefing and trying to gather some information from members of council and the rest of audit committee to see if we had any concerns, thoughts, give them any direction that we felt was necessary. And nothing came out to the auditors from the committee. And unfortunately, I didn't write the date down, and I don't have the date that we met, but I can get that to you later. The Calgary Regional Partnership met on March the 20th. The board met in Okotoks on March 20th to review, discuss, and approve the 4-year strategic plan 2015 to 2019 and the business plan and budget for 2015-2016. All member communities were in attendance. The plans and budget were passed as presented. High River's formal application to rejoin the Calgary Regional Partnership was accepted and passed. The community of Redwood Meadows has made application to rejoin the partnership, and a representative was present and expressed their desire to attend as a guest until formal application is presented. The members of the Calgary Regional Partnership were pleased to see the interest from the 2 communities. Discussions continue with rural municipalities to have them rejoin the partnership. The rural municipalities were instrumental on the Calgary Metropolitan Plan, and the members believe they would be a welcome addition. There was discussion on the proposed legislation of the Calgary Metropolitan Plan as presented by the Municipal Affairs Minister. All member communities agreed to accept the status quo until a suitable agreement could be reached. Community Futures Wild Rose. The meeting was brought to order at 7 p.m. March 5th, 2014. Financial reports were reviewed and approved. Loan approvals were ahead of last year with 41 approvals and 1.6 million dispersed to date. The CFWR has requested legal assistance regarding a loan. Staffing was discussed, and approval for a temporary contract employee was approved. Loans to support the Three Hills Arts Academy were discussed. Loans are granted to businesses and are for a minimum of $1,000 to a maximum of $7,500 with repayment over 3 years. The funds are donated to the Three Hills Arts Academy. This is a sponsorship plan supported by the business community, and the interest is paid by the town. WED Senior Business Officer Shelley Cuthbertson was in attendance and spoke on the new 3-year contract for the CFWR. Yoricana has entered into an agreement with the CRP, Canadian Badlands, and Bow Valley College to develop a sustainable tourism initiative. Strathmore District Chamber of Commerce, March 23rd, held their AGM at the Roadhouse at noon on March 23rd. The new president is Waldo Munans. Is that how you pronounce his last name? The lunch was sponsored by local businesses, the Roadhouse, Jesco, Rocking Our Guest Ranch, Waldo's Printing, Zen Lake Holdings, and Dry Cleaning by Dave. The financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2014 and budget for 2015 were presented and approved by the members. There was a call for members to sit on the executive. However, no new names were submitted. The board will continue to look for additional members of the executive. The chamber has a new positive approach for the year. They will work towards increasing awareness of the benefits and increasing the membership, attracting new business to town, and fundraising are goals they have set for themselves. The executive, in my opinion, have set an ambitious year, and those are my reports. And administration, please.
A couple of items. First of all, building permits. So far, they're double last year, which is always good. Another item, the audit committee was talked about, and the next audit committee meeting is on April the 15th, later in the afternoon, before the auditors come to council meeting. And there's a lot of interest in trying to get more business downtown and also to fill in some of the bays that are available. And the gentleman came today and met with me who's really interested in promoting to get people into some of the businesses. And the incubator that we've talked about quite a bit, there's a variety of people that have talked to me saying they might be interested in having an incubator, various kinds in their business, all the way from maybe shops that are sports oriented. I better not say all of them, but anyway, we've got some really good interest in people saying, I've got space available, I'm not using it. And to me, that's ideal. If there's a few incubators here and a few there, and somebody can answer the phones in the business forum, it'd be very good. And hopefully some of them will come forth soon about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Your Worship, I'd move to accept the committee reports as information.
We have a motion on the floor. All in favor? And carried. Thank you. Questions between councillors or to administration. 11.1 roles and responsibilities. Councillor Walz.
Your Worship, thank you. I've been thinking about this the last while, and given the censures that have been rolling out across the province, and given that this is our second year, I think it would be very beneficial for us to have a legal team come in, go through our roles and responsibilities as councillors, just kind of clarify a few things that maybe some of us are maybe unknowingly doing. Just kind of, do a bit of a reset, draw that line again, clear in the sand, so that maybe we can catch ourselves if we're stepping out of bounds once in a while. I think it'd be a really good idea just to, get a lawyer in for even 20 minutes or half an hour at the most, and just kind of do a little bit of a refresher. And Your Worship, I am prepared to make a motion if council's ready for that.
Do you want to ask questions first, or do you want the motion? Councillor Graychuk.
Any idea what this lawyer costs?
Yeah, Your Worship, some preliminary numbers from Dr. Stanford is about $1,300. In Worship, if I may go a little further, I think that's money's well spent. Unknowingly, we sometimes cross that imaginary line, and I'm guilty of it myself. And this is just a good reset of, oh yes, that's not our job. This is our responsibility over here. So I think it's a really good idea to, we're midway now. It probably wouldn't hurt to do a quick refresher on that.
Would you like to entertain a motion? Go ahead, Councillor Sobel.
Well, I guess my only question is, if you're talking 20 minutes, half an hour, we better be very specific in regards to the issues that we're wanting these legal minds to speak about, because we have policy upon policy upon policy, and as well as provincial legislation that governs us in regards to all of this. And I personally feel that any questions that you have is easily answered by going through these policies. We could probably save ourselves $1,300, but the fact it remains that if we're going to do this, we have to be on task in regards to what subject we're talking about.
And Your Worship, to Councillor Sobel, the only reason I was suggesting is a half hour is I really didn't want a particular to sit here for 4 or 5 hours like last time. But if that's council's wishes, I'm prepared to entertain that as well. Maybe we have a quick council reorientation. I don't know. I'm open for suggestions.
And lastly, would this not be better served by a discussion with the CAO and perhaps putting some kind of a plan in place and then bringing that before council as to exactly how this would look like and at what price?
Your Worship, if I may, Dr. Stanford, I've had that conversation with Dr. Stanford already.
Sure, we could prepare material on it. Basically what it is, the lawyers are $400 an hour, pretty well any of them that we'd pick. So it's $400 an hour. So there'd be at least an hour or two here, and then an hour traveling each way. Plus there may be preparation time and so on. But I would guess that we'd want to do a minimum of an hour if we're going to do it.
Yes.
I would like to put it to administration to give us some outline as to what this is going to be all about.
Sure, if council want that.
Do you want to do it as a direction? No, Councillor Peterson?
I know, as a new councillor, I certainly hear the persistent concerns of my fellow councillor. And if we're doing this with regards to a code of conduct pursuant to the MGA, one of the things, if it was a refresher, one of the things that we could do is use one of their online instruction that are prepared by lawyers, and it's something that we could do, and it wouldn't cost us any money. But that would be for administration to look into. They might see capacity beyond that to have someone here, and I support yours and Councillor Graychuk's.
Councillor
And
Graychuk?
I'd also like to reiterate that the conventions that we go to, there's always one of those speakers on this issue every time, and we can learn a lot there on our own.
Your Worship, I think the rationale for bringing a person back here is everyone's then now hearing the same information, and then we can work together to hold, and not hold, but maybe if I'm unclear about something, maybe I can talk to someone that is just heard the same information I did. I really think it's a necessary thing. I strongly believe it's a necessary thing. Therefore, I would move that administration prepares a report for the next council meeting to talk about outlining costs for a lawyer to come and give council roles and responsibilities.
Okay, so I guess that's where I was going. the subject matter is roles and responsibilities. Thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And carried. Thank you. 11.2, thank you.
Your worship, I was at the convention at the Canadian Badlands, and I really like to send a thank you to administration for the Family Center staff. They did an exceptional job of keeping that upstairs washroom very clean, and it was very refreshing to go to that particular site. So I'd like a thank you sent to those people. They're very inviting. Thank you.
Nothing further under questions between council and administration. Council invitation, 12.1 Lions auction, please.
Your worship, just a quick Lions plug here. The 29th annual auction is April the 11th. We're hoping to see as many councillors and people there as possible. I know if you're still interested in donating, we're still accepting some donations, and tickets are still for sale.
No further questions? That's all of the agenda.
Move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor? And carried. And thank you.